Futurama Sleepers. As the name suggests, a Futurama sleeper is essentially just someone who watches Futurama or listens to it as they fall asleep, often every night. You wouldn't think this would be so common, but there is not one, but two subreddits that are dedicated to Futurama sleeping, both with thousands of members. Anyone who's ever been in a Futurama Facebook group can tell you that this topic comes up all the time. A lot of these people will insist that Futurama is the only thing that helps them fall asleep, that they had insomnia until they discovered it. Now, there are certainly also people who are Simpsons sleepers, Bob's Burgers sleepers, King of the Hill sleepers, but subreddits for those groups only have about 90 members each. So what is it about Futurama? I think it boils down to nostalgia and also the fact that Futurama's dialogue is really nicely paced and really resembles an actual conversation. Which is odd because the show is about like traveling through space, but whatever. Studies have shown that we actually prefer re-watching TV shows, partially because of nostalgia and also because if we know what we're expecting, then we feel more calm and relaxed. I think the well-written dialogue also functions as sort of an accidental white noise because it's so similar to a real conversation. The same way that the noise of a fan or a quiet conversation or a busy street can actually help us sleep at nights. It's a little more complicated than this, but essentially it's just barely distracting enough to help your brain forget about the day. Since the plot lines for Futurama are just ever so slightly complex, it's actually a modern version of counting sheep. If you give your brain a fairly simple task that is just the right balance between boring and challenging, then it's actually easier to fall asleep. So especially if you've seen the episode again, it's going to reduce your anxiety and give you a nice noise to fall asleep to. And I guess something about Futurama just does that really well. I am not a Futurama sleeper just because I don't really get insomnia, so I'm lucky enough not to need it. But honestly, the few times when I can't sleep, it really hits the spot.